Right now, somewhere in the world, a machine is filling a jar with peanut butter every single second. Not every minute, every second. By the time you finish watching this video, thousands of jars will have rolled off a single factory line, ready to sit on store shelves around the world. But here is the strange part. That smooth, creamy spread you put on your toast this morning did not start in a factory at all. It started underground, buried in dirt, hidden from the sun, growing in a way that almost no other food on Earth grows. And before it ever touches a piece of bread, it will travel through fire, ice, blades, and steel in a process so massive and so precise that most people who eat peanut butter every day have no idea it even exists. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at a jar of peanut butter the same way again. Welcome to the channel where we break down the biggest production lines on the planet. If this is your first time here, you are in the right place, because today we are going inside the hidden world of peanut butter, from the dirt to the jar. Before we go any further, here is a fact that surprises almost everyone. Peanuts are not actually nuts at all. Despite the name, peanuts belong to the legume family, the same plant family as beans, lentils, and peas. Real nuts, like almonds or walnuts, grow on trees, hanging in the open air where you can see them ripen. Peanuts do the complete opposite, and that single difference is the reason their entire growing process, and eventually their entire factory process, looks so unusual compared to almost every other crop on the planet. Keep that in mind as we walk through exactly how this underground legume turns into one of the most popular spreads in the world. It all begins with a seed and a problem. Peanuts are strange. Most plants grow their fruit above the ground, up in the sunlight, where you can see it. Peanuts do the opposite. After the peanut plant flowers and the flower gets pollinated, something unusual happens. The base of that flower starts to grow downward, like a tiny green finger reaching for the soil. It pushes into the dirt, and once it is underground, it swells and forms the peanut pod. That means the very thing we eat develops completely out of sight, hidden beneath the surface, while the rest of the plant keeps growing green leaves above ground. This whole journey, from the moment a farmer plants the seed to the moment the peanuts are ready to come out of the ground, takes about 150 days. That is roughly 5 months of watching, waiting, and hoping the weather cooperates. Once those 150 days are up, the real work begins, and it starts with a machine that looks like nothing else in farming. It is called a digger-shaker-inverter, and the name actually tells you exactly what it does. First, it digs into the soil beneath the rows of peanut plants, loosening the earth so the roots can be pulled free without snapping. Then it shakes the plants, knocking off as much loose dirt as possible while keeping the peanut pods attached to the roots. Finally, it inverts the entire plant, flipping it completely upside down. Why flip it over? Because now the peanut pods, which were buried and hidden in darkness, are suddenly facing up toward the sun, while the leafy green part of the plant ends up facing down toward the soil. It looks almost backward, like the field has been turned inside out, but this step is critical for what happens next. Imagine driving past a field where every single plant has been flipped over in perfectly straight rows, roots, and peanuts pointing up at the sky instead of down in the dirt. From a distance, it almost looks like the field went through a storm, but this is not chaos. It is one carefully engineered pass of a single machine, designed to do in a few minutes what would take a team of workers hours to accomplish by hand. After the plants are flipped, they are left lying in the field for several days, sometimes close to a week, depending on the weather. This is called field drying, and it might be the most boring-looking part of the entire process. But do not let that fool you. This step protects the entire harvest. Peanuts come out of the ground full of moisture, and moisture is the enemy of stored food. If peanuts go into storage while they are still damp, mold can grow inside the shells without anyone even noticing until it is too late, ruining huge portions of the crop. By letting the sun and air slowly pull that moisture out while the plants rest upside down in the field, farmers protect months of hard work from being destroyed by something as simple and invisible as humidity. Once the peanuts have dried out properly, a combine harvester rolls through the field. This massive machine drives directly over the rows of dried, inverted plants and does something very specific. It separates the peanut pods from the vines and the rest of the plant. The peanuts get collected and stored inside the machine, while the leftover vines and plant material are released right back onto the field. This is not wasted material. Those leftover vines decompose and act as a natural fertilizer for the soil, feeding the next crop that will eventually be planted in that same ground. It is a quiet, simple form of recycling that has been happening in farming for generations, long before anyone used the word sustainability to describe it. At this point, the peanuts leave the farm behind. They get loaded onto trucks or train cars and begin a journey toward a massive processing facility. And this is where the story shifts completely. Up until now, everything has been about nature, soil, sunlight, and patience. From this point forward, everything becomes about machines, precision, heat, and speed. The relaxed pace of farming life disappears, replaced by conveyor belts, rotating drums, and timers measured in seconds. Raw peanuts arrive still wrapped inside their tough, papery shells, and those shells need to come off before anything else can happen. The peanuts are poured into large rotating drums, and as these drums spin, the peanuts tumble against each other and against the metal walls of the drum. The friction from all that tumbling cracks open the shells. Once the shells are broken, a powerful ventilation system kicks in, blowing air through the mixture to separate the lightweight, broken shell pieces from the heavier peanut kernels inside. The shells get carried away by the airflow, leaving behind clean, bare peanut kernels ready for the next stage. And here is something worth remembering, because we will come back to it later. Those discarded shells do not just get thrown in the trash. They get collected and often reused in other industries, which means even at this very first step, the factory is already thinking about reducing waste. With the shells removed, the kernels move into roasting, and this is where peanut butter actually starts to gain its familiar flavor and color. The peanuts travel along a hot air conveyor system, basically a long tunnel filled with intense heat set to roughly 240 degrees Celsius, which is about 464 degrees Fahrenheit. That is hot enough to cook a steak in minutes. As the peanuts move through this roaster, a vibrating system keeps them constantly shifting and tumbling. This part matters more than people realize. If the peanuts just sat still in that heat, the ones on the bottom would burn, while the ones on top stayed raw. By keeping everything in constant motion, the roaster makes sure every single peanut gets cooked evenly, coming out with that golden brown color and that deep, toasty smell that we instantly associate with peanut butter. If you have ever walked into a kitchen while someone was roasting peanuts at home, you already know that smell. Now imagine that same smell, except multiplied across an entire factory floor, with thousands of pounds of peanuts moving through that heat at the exact same time. It is the same chemistry happening in your kitchen, just scaled up to an industrial level most people never get to see. Right after roasting, the peanuts face a sudden and dramatic change. Powerful suction fans pull cool air across the hot kernels, rapidly dropping their temperature. This is not just about comfort or convenience. It is about control. If the peanuts kept cooking even after they left the roaster, residual heat could push them past the perfect roast level, turning golden brown into burnt in a matter of minutes. The cooling fans act like an emergency brake, locking in that perfect roast level before it can go any further. Once cooled, the peanuts move into one of the most surprising steps in the entire process: blanching. A specialized blanching machine gently rubs the peanuts, and this friction peels away the thin, papery skin that clings to each kernel. But the machine does something else at the same time. It splits each peanut kernel in half along its natural seam. Why does that matter? Because hidden inside every peanut is a tiny embryo, sometimes called the heart or the germ, and this tiny piece carries a noticeably bitter taste. By splitting the kernel open, the machine exposes that bitter germ so it can be removed completely. Without this step, every jar of peanut butter would carry an unpleasant, bitter aftertaste, even if everything else about the process was done perfectly. After blanching, the peanuts pass under the watch of optical sorting machines, and this is basically quality control powered by technology instead of human eyes. These machines use cameras and sensors to scan every single peanut kernel as it rushes past on the conveyor belt. They are looking for anything wrong: discoloration, damage, mold, or any defect that should not make it into the final product. When the sensor spots a problem, a tiny, precisely timed burst of air shoots that one bad kernel off the line in a fraction of a second, while every healthy kernel continues on unharmed. This entire inspection happens at a speed no human eye could ever match, checking thousands of individual peanuts every single minute without ever getting tired or missing a defect. A human inspector working an 8-hour shift would eventually slow down, get distracted, or simply miss something after staring at a moving conveyor belt for hours. A machine never blinks, never gets bored, and never has an off day, which is exactly why this kind of technology has become so important in food factories that need to guarantee the same quality in jar number 1 and jar number 10 million. Now comes the transformation that turns whole peanuts into the smooth product we recognize. The cleaned, sorted kernels are dropped into huge industrial mills, and these mills grind the peanuts down into a thick paste. As the kernels get crushed and ground, the natural oils inside them are released, which is exactly what gives peanut butter that smooth, spreadable texture instead of staying dry and crumbly like peanut flour. Think about it like squeezing a sponge that is full of water. The harder and longer you squeeze, the more liquid comes out. Grinding peanuts works in a similar way. except instead of water, it is oil being pressed out of every kernel, and that oil is exactly what turns solid peanuts into a smooth, flowing paste. Grinding peanuts works in a similar way, except instead of water, it is oil being pressed out of every kernel, and that oil is exactly what turns solid peanuts into a smooth, flowing paste. But grinding alone is not enough to create the peanut butter that lines store shelves. While the mixture is being ground, precise amounts of other ingredients get added directly into the process. Sugar goes in to balance out the natural bitterness and add a touch of sweetness. Salt goes in to enhance the overall flavor. And hydrogenated vegetable oils get added as well, and this ingredient has a very specific job. Natural peanut oil tends to separate over time, rising to the top of the jar and leaving the bottom thick and dry, which is why old-fashioned natural peanut butter often needs stirring before every use. The added oils help stabilize that texture, keeping everything blended together smoothly so the product stays consistent from the first spoonful to the very last one, without separating on store shelves for months. Similar to how rubbing your hands together quickly makes them warm. By the time the peanut butter finishes mixing, it can reach temperatures around 60 degrees Celsius, which is far too hot to pack into jars immediately. So before bottling can begin, the mixture passes through a cooling system that brings the temperature down to around 38 degrees Celsius, just about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This temperature is carefully chosen, cool enough that it will not damage the jars or packaging, but still warm enough to flow smoothly through the filling equipment without becoming too thick or sticky to pump properly. Once the peanut butter reaches that perfect temperature, it gets pumped into an army of automated jar fillers. In a large facility, this filling line can pack roughly 250 jars every single minute. Picture that for a second. That is more than 4 jars completed every single second, non-stop, hour after hour, throughout an entire workday. Each jar gets filled with an exact measured amount of peanut butter, ensuring every single jar that leaves the factory contains the same quantity, whether it is the very first jar of the day or the 10,000th. But filling the jar is not the final step. An induction heating system activates, which uses targeted heat to fuse a thin aluminum seal onto the inside of the cap. This creates what is called a hermetic seal, meaning it is completely airtight. This single, almost invisible layer is the reason a jar of peanut butter can sit on a store shelf, then in your pantry, for up to an entire year without spoiling. No air gets in, no contamination gets through, and the product inside stays protected until you are the one who finally breaks that seal open for the first time. Now let's talk about scale, because the numbers here are honestly hard to wrap your head around. A large peanut butter factory can produce up to 120 million jars of peanut butter every single year. Stop and think about that number for a moment. 120 million jars from a single facility in just 12 months. When you break that massive number down into something easier to picture, it works out to roughly 4 jars completed every single second of every single day. While you read this sentence, several more jars just finished rolling off the line somewhere in the world. Multiply that single factory across every peanut butter producer on the planet, and you start to understand why peanut butter is not just a kitchen staple in one country, but a product manufactured and shipped by the truckload across nearly every continent, feeding breakfast tables, school lunches, and pantries everywhere, every single day of the year. And every one of those jars starts with a surprisingly specific recipe. To make just one standard 500-gram jar of peanut butter, which is about 17.5 ounces, factories use roughly 565 grams of raw, unprocessed peanuts. That might not sound like a lot until you realize what that weight actually represents. It takes around 1,100 individual peanut kernels to fill a single jar. 1,100 tiny peanuts, each one grown underground, dug up, dried, shelled, roasted, cooled, blanched, sorted, and ground, all coming together inside one ordinary jar sitting in your kitchen cabinet. With production happening on this enormous scale, you might assume there has to be a massive amount of waste left behind. Surprisingly, that is not really the case. The peanut skins that get rubbed off during blanching, along with the bitter germs that get split out and removed, do not simply get thrown away. Instead, they typically get redirected and repurposed into livestock feed, giving farm animals a nutritious use for material that would otherwise be discarded. Even the tough outer shells that get blown away during the very first shelling step often get collected and upcycled into other products instead of ending up buried in a landfill. From the farm field all the way to the factory floor, almost nothing from the peanut plant truly goes to waste. Every single part of it gets used for something. It is worth pausing here to appreciate just how far peanut butter has come. What started as crushed peanuts made by hand more than a century ago has turned into one of the most efficient food production systems on Earth, capable of feeding entire countries from a single facility. The basic idea has never really changed. You take a peanut, you remove what you do not need, and you grind what is left into something smooth. But the way that idea gets carried out today, with rotating drums, optical sensors, induction sealers, and automated fillers running around the clock, is a world away from a person crushing peanuts with a mortar and pestle in a kitchen. That contrast between something so simple in concept and so complicated in execution is exactly why this kind of process deserves a closer look. So the next time you twist open a jar of peanut butter and spread it across a piece of toast, take just a second to think about everything that jar actually went through to get there. 150 days growing quietly underground, hidden from the sun. A specialized machine digging it up and flipping it over to dry in the open air. A combine harvester separating it from the vines. A journey by truck or train to a massive factory. Rotating drums cracking open its shell. A roaster cooking it at 464 degrees Fahrenheit. Fans rapidly cooling it down. A blanching machine peeling away its skin and removing its bitter heart. Cameras and sensors inspecting every single kernel. Massive industrial mills grinding it into paste alongside sugar, salt, and oil. A cooling system bringing the temperature back down. And finally, an automated machine pumping it into a jar at a speed of 4 jars every single second, sealed airtight to last an entire year on your shelf. That is the real story behind one of the simplest foods in your kitchen, and it is exactly the kind of hidden, massive process this channel was built to explore. If this video showed you something about peanut butter you never knew before, that is exactly the goal here. Every single video on this channel takes one ordinary product, something you probably use without thinking twice, and breaks down the enormous hidden production process behind it. If you want to keep discovering how everyday things are actually made on a massive scale, make sure you like this video and subscribe so you do not miss what comes next. There are dozens of products sitting in your home right now with stories just as wild as this one, and we are going to uncover every single one of them. Maybe it is the cereal in your cabinet, the soda in your fridge, or the soap sitting next to your sink. Every one of those ordinary objects hides a production story most people never stop to think about, and that is exactly what keeps this channel going. So if you made it this far, you clearly enjoy learning how things really work behind the scenes, which means you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel was made for. Thanks for watching all the way to the end, and we will see you in the next video.